This is Josh here from InsideWrestlingTruth, and today's guest is independent wrestler Juicy Jimmy Feltcher. Jimmy, how you doing today?
Never better. Came back from a blockbuster show tonight, feeling great. Drinking me some wine here, ready to have a good time. Let's get on this thing, man.
All right. First question: how did you break into the business?
It broke me. No, in all seriousness, I got trained in 2003 under Dirty Chris Hayes out of Central Kentucky, old school guy. From there on, I just kept on working and worked for $5 or $10 payouts, if that. And here I am today, lo and behold.
What was your inspiration to get into the wrestling business?
Inspiration. I'd always watched it as a kid, and it's just something I always have wanted to do. And I knew when I turned 18 years old, that's what I was going to be a pro wrestler. I had actually wrote a piece when I was maybe in the first or second grade of that's what I was going to do when I grew up. And everybody laughed at me, blah, 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 whatever. You know what? I've still got that essay I had to write. You know what? It's true, so welcome.
That's cool to follow your dreams, man. What legends have you worked with?
You're talking about in the ring wise, right?
Yes, sir.
Bushwhacker Luke. I did a little deal with Hillbilly Jim where we danced together. It was a big deal because I was a big WF fan back in the 80s. I worked Balls Mahoney at one of the gatherings for ECW. It was okay. Just been on a card with countless of those guys and worked quite a few of them. Jamie Dundee, who I consider to be a legend, maybe in the other way.
Yeah. Who was your favorite to work?
The Hillbilly Jim deal was pretty cool to me, But other than that, Jamie was cool to work with because I grew up watching him on TV. He's wild, crazy. That's exactly what he is. And I really don't have a favorite, so to speak. I can tell you which one paid better, but hey.
Which one paid better?
Balls Mahoney.
What are some of your favorite matches of all time?
Me and Tony, and Too Tough Tony, in Detroit, Michigan for the Clowns, we did a thumbtack match together. We went about 20 minutes. The only downside of that, I was doing the stupid baby gimmick the ICP had me doing. But other than that, it was a cool deal. That was a good match. My last match I had against the Zodiac, Pro Wrestling Freedom. It's one of my favorites. It was a lumberjack strap match. It was a really good match. The crowd was real hot. Can't say enough good things about it.
Describe how painful that thumbtack match was.
Once you've done them so many times, you kind of get numb to it. But after, your first time, man, it's like a nightmare being in there, But hey, it's what pays.
Right. Pays the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you enjoy most about wrestling?
The camaraderie of the brotherhood, which that whole brotherhood word, brother, don't ever get me started on that because I will be here the rest of the day because some people have no clue of what that means. They just toss that word around like I would, hey Josh, how are you doing? It's total bullshit. People don't know what real brothers means anymore. But as far as the other things, the joking and ribs, the crazy things we do, hey, this guy got ripped off and here's a story behind it. Such good shit. You know what I mean?
What is your worst injury?
I had staph infection. I thank you, University Hospital in Louisville, for the great care you have bestowed upon me in the 6 or 7 days I was in there. They actually sent me home thinking that I was fine, and sure enough, I wasn't. I almost lost my leg due to it. Just University Hospital, fuck you.
Yeah, they suck, man. I don't got no love for them either. Would you want to speak on whose ring it was in?
I'll tell you straight up, Bobo Brazil Jr.'s ring. I don't know if he was running a ring or what he was doing, but the canvas was really dirty, and I don't know, I guess I may have had an abrasion or something on my leg, and it got in there, and sure enough, I kept saying, well, my knee hurts, and well, my leg swelled up, looked like a balloon, and it got hot, and I eventually said, look, I got to get something done, because I was limping around real bad for 2 or 3 days.
Probably chicken grease. What was it like to book Vader, and how did he treat the guys in the locker room?
Fucking asshole. You know, he preaches this, oh brother, where art thou, Christian bullshit he does, and hey, bless you, and all this horse shit, and the whole time he's there trying to take your money, he tried to help us up to $500 more at the show before he went out of the curtain. He was an asshole to a lot of the fans. The boys who did the training seminar, it was an hour of him putting himself over. His match maybe went 5 minutes while he collected all this money, and he is a pure definition of a guy who doesn't have it anymore, who's trying to relive his past and his past paydays, who won't draw you a nickel. Fuck him.
I was actually up there to meet Vader, and he was a dick.
How was it?
He was unprofessional. He was a dick.
Amen to that. Promoters out there, don't be stupid. Don't book him.
What do you think about OVW, PWF, and D1W?
Alright, let's break these down. Ohio Valley Wrestling, or as I call it, the old version of wrestling. It sucks. They think they're better than a lot of other people. Same old shit. Trailer Park Trash, you can go fuck yourself. I don't even know you. I just hear these wild stories about you and how you fuck guys over in their career. But and as far as the guys who work for them, who have this big league attitude, who come into other independent shows, fuck you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
D1W, something that could have been really, really good. I no longer work there. I try not to get involved in what business they do. They have some good guys who work up there. I just don't think that the decision making there is probably the best that they could have, if that makes any sense to you. When you had a support staff like they used to have there, and people would tell you things and you would just blow them off to satisfy 3 or 4 internet marks, oh well, fuck you. You know what I mean? And that's not directed to any of the guys who work there. It's directed at mainly one person. But
would you want to tell us who that one person is?
I don't want to even dignify.
Okay. Explain to us your hardcore wrestling background.
Well, man, I've always done like cage matches and things of that nature. But a few years back, I needed money to pay my rent, and a show down in Alabama was minus a few guys, and it was a deathmatch tournament, and hey, they came calling, and I saw the green dollar, and I went, and there we were off. I did barbed wire matches and thumbtacks and glass, and Lord knows what else. Fought all over buildings, bled every week, just not something. Yeah, I didn't choose it; it chose me.
What was the most painful hardcore match you were in?
It wasn't this. Oh, actually, let me take that back. I did a thumbtack match at the Gathering one year, and I don't know, like the thumbtacks got right in my shin, and I had to crawl out of the ring. And the facilities there weren't the best. Like they don't even have showers for the guys, which is fucking horse shit. Or at least the year I was there, they didn't. And we had to shower underneath a tree, so with a camping bag. But that was fairly painful, and I had an idea to take my hand and have it thrown into the thumbtacks. Well, I didn't know then that you got a lot of what's the word here for muscles or nerve endings right here in your hand, and it hurt. It hurt so bad. That was really bad. For a match that maybe lasted 5-6 minutes.
All right, next we're going to do a little name association, as we call it. Alistair Fear.
Great guy.
Madman Pondo.
He's helped a lot of younger guys out in the business. He's probably winding down on his career now. I just me and him don't necessarily see eye to eye on things, but overall, good dude.
Dutch Mantel.
Funny.
Jerry Lawler.
My childhood hero.
Jamie Dundee.
Crazy.
Hulk Hogan.
Bigger than life.
Ric Flair.
The best.
Sabu.
Once again, crazy.
Too Tough Tony.
Funny dude.
Terry Funk.
Well, the first thing you mentioned him to me, I think about the scene in Beyond the Mat where he rolls his ankle. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That was quite funny.
Yeah.
But been around a long time. Legend.
Did you ever happen to see his barbed wire match with Sabu?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
It's a great one.
Yeah, it sure is, man.
They actually had to cut the barbed wire because it almost sliced Terry Funk's neck.
Nasty shit, man.
What's the biggest problem with the WWE and TNA today?
Well, WWE seems to be doing okay. I don't think they have too much to worry about. They put on entertaining shows from what I see. Sure, some internet writers may not like John Cena, but you know what? Fucking he draws. As far as TNA, when you get the reputation of being a retirement home for a lot of the guys, anybody who is up in age and can't go anymore, they should literally cut them and give some independent boys a job. The guys will go out and bust their ass, and they're not going to collect a big six-figure paycheck.
What's your funniest road story?
Well, there's a couple actually. The funniest one, well, this isn't necessarily exactly a road. Really, I guess it's a road story. Myself and Father Fear were on our way to Terre Haute, Indiana for the legendary Bobo Brazil Jr. And we had been promised a guarantee. Well, we get to this town, and there are no seats in this dressing room that are like adult-sized seats. It's all like the preschool kids' seats. So we're like, okay. So we had to sit in these little seats. And my big fat ass in those seats is it's comical at best. But after the second match, we're getting ready. And Bobo comes in his maroon pimp suit. And he proceeds to tell the whole dressing room, boys, I don't know how they're going to react. My money backer hasn't showed up. I don't know what these people are going to think when I have to go out there and say we're going to have to cancel the show. And I watched all these stupid motherfuckers stand up and say, oh, God, we'll work. They're here. Well, way to paint me in the corner and make me look like a bad guy, because I would have left. I was at the point I just wanted to leave. There's no money there. You lied to all the guys. More of your horse shit and bullshit. And I'll never forget, I had to work with this boxer. It was supposed to be boxer versus wrestler. And this black guy comes strolling in. And I guess he had been in a fight the night before. And his face is all bruised up. And I'm thinking, oh, holy shit, this is going to be some... I hope this dude is smart. And sure enough, he was a big wrestling fan. He had a few people out there. And he was such a nice guy, I went ahead and worked anyway. And... it was a real comical type match in the main event. It was a shits, but hey, we made it by. But that's one of them,
What wrestlers in the Indies will make it to TNA or WWE that nobody knows about?
Dustin Ray's number one. Jordan Cage, if he gets on enough shows and gets more size to him. He's really good. There's probably far more out there than that. But that's just two that really come to mind. They actually had a TNA tryout in Corbin not too long ago where they worked on another dark match. And I mean, it was what it was, a little 5-minute match. I didn't want to do too much, but I know that they impressed that office quite a bit.
Is there one moment in your career that stands out more than any?
Not for like people looking at me wise, but I was working some sort of 8-man tag for JCW, and just there was maybe 1,000 people at this event they had, and I'll never forget it. Bull Payne was on one side and Rhino was on one side, and when they finally hit the tag into both of them, just the roof came off that building. And that's the best feeling in the world when you're in the ring and you can hear that, you know.
Yeah.
I've got several moments. It's just like I really don't keep up with a whole lot of that shit. It's just whenever I do have that moment, you'll probably never see me after that.
Now this next question is a little touchy, and I hope I don't offend you.
Okay.
Is it true that homosexuals get treated badly in the business?
I don't think so. When you go into a dressing room, however, and you act like a fag, you need to expect that treatment back. It's motherfuckers like Burt Prentice and Mike Porter who ruin all this shit for us. Who when you're outstanding person and you just happen to be homosexual, you got fucking Mike Porter and Burt who try to fuck all the boys and try to ruin all that for all of us. I don't want to say good gays in the business, but fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck them. What's the worst company you've worked for?
Oh God, there's been plenty of those. There's been a lot of bad companies, but they've been fun to work for. Wolfpack Championship Wrestling was fun to work for because you never knew what to expect. Bobo's was a horrible company. What was the name of their company? MCIW. Fucking horrible. You never knew what was going to happen there in a bad way because you never knew who you were going to work with one week. And then all these paydays would get promised to you, and then they would never be there. Just horseshit. Sorry, Bo, but it's truth.
Do you dislike any promoters?
Well, there's tons of people I dislike, but I think any of the boys who go and work for Mike Porter or anyone of that stature need to really evaluate their priorities. Don't just work because you know the guy's an idiot, and have some morals about you. If the guy said he's going to pay you X amount of dollars and he doesn't, just don't go work for him again. Porter's the first one that comes to mind. He used the boys for years and continues to use the boys. Just anybody who associates with him is just unreal. But as far as other promoters that I strongly dislike, there have been several that I think that have done bad business because they've been forced to do bad business because that's the only way they know. Let's go ahead and get to the next one here.
What's your thoughts on N. Rotten?
Wow. The cockroach of pro wrestling. He will survive. He is a survivor. He absolutely, I don't know how he did it this last time, but he somehow put 400 people in the building, which is a hard matter to these days. And I think he did it because of the old school IWA name. And in Southern Indiana, that still has good value to it. Kudos to him. Anything that puts pressure on these other local independent promotions here in Southern Indiana, where it be OVW or D1W, and forces their game up, I'm all for it. Not that I'm a big Ian supporter. Me and him disagree on numerous things, but kudos to him.
What's your thoughts on tag teams, and is it missed in TNA and WWE today?
Absolutely, there's not enough of them. And if they do have tag teams, they don't stay together for 6 months. I remember guys they tagged for years together, and now they just want to get them to break them up. On independent level, it's pretty hard to have a good tag team division because most of the time you're seeing one tag match on an independent show because that's 4 guys in the ring. That's 2 matches. Simple math.
Yeah.
I would desperately like to see it come back.
How many more years do you think you will wrestle?
Well, I am 29 now. I've been wrestling roughly for 10 years. I'll be 11 in December. I would like to think when I'm 40, I will hang it up as far as active wrestling, if I can make it that long. But I say that, but I probably will be doing this till here on out.
Do you think you will ever be a booker?
I wouldn't want that job if they handed it to me.
What's the difference between Kentucky and Indiana wrestling fans?
Indiana is oversaturated with shows. Kentucky is not. Because they do the one purpose the athletic commission serves is they do kind of regulate who can run and who can't. So you just can't go there and put a show on. You got to get the proper channels, get licensing, whatnot. And I think that helps out as far as that. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can run a show. Well, here in Indiana, if you get a trailer and you got a ring, if you can get a building, my God, you can have a show. And it's just Indiana's way too oversaturated with promotions. Kentucky's not.
What's the most heat you received, fan-wise and backstage?
Wow, okay. The heat-wise backstage thing, God, I've been a heat magnet for years. I really never gave 2 fucks about it. If somebody likes me, they like me. If they don't, well, fuck you. I don't have to do business that way. I've told enough people to go fuck themselves that I could write a whole book on that. I've got hired places, I've got fired places. It's all one and the same. There's always going to be a new group pop up. But as far as fan wise, we used to have Carmine, Illinois, really good and jacked up. Sadly, those days are over. Due to one idiot who decided to take matters into his own hands, so to speak, and hit a kid. I'm not gonna mention any names, but I know who they are. And honestly, ever since then, it just kind of died down. I don't even work there anymore. It's just a lot of these good places where the wrestling fans get so jacked up and want to see the show and get all into it. They've been ruined by one bad apple,
So, a wrestler actually hit a kid.
Yes, a mentally challenged kid at that.
What a fucking bitch.
Absolutely.
Do you think the Indies is the future of wrestling?
Well, yeah, because that's the place where you're gonna get your talent. It's like minor league baseball. Just a lot of good talent out there. It's just they need to get off their ass and sign some of these guys. They're good, damn good.
Yeah, they are. Do you consider yourself a role model?
I'd like to say no, but a lot of these towns you go into, you get to know, hey, this is Sue Bob over here, and she's got 6 kids, and they're eating gravy 7 nights a week, and you have to hear this every week, and you have to pretend like you actually really care about it. They'll get on Facebook and try to talk to me. It's cool or whatever, but I'm not here to be a babysitter. I'm not here.
Right.
I'm here to provide professional service. But hey, it's all in the line of work we're in.
How did the gimmick of Juicy Jimmy Feltcher come about?
Well, I looked around. At the time, it was really taboo for any wrestler to come out of the closet, and I did. And nobody was doing the old school Adrian Street, Adrian Adonis type gimmick. And I took all those and put a little Playboy Buddy Rose in it, and put it in a blender, and I came out, so to speak.
It's an entertaining character, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about wrestling. Fuck that. You do a hammerlock so fucking what? You get out there and dance, and let's make people laugh. Let's go have some crowd interaction. Let's have a good time. You know.
What's your thoughts on creative writers that don't know the business?
Well, they're put there because they have a background in television of some sort, and I can understand that for producing reasons. But at the end of the day, they don't know pro wrestling. Just here would be my equation to that. Would I hire a plumber to come in and build my house? What would your answer be there, Josh? No. Would I hire a carpenter to do my plumbing? Okay. That answers itself. We need to get back to the basics. We need to get wrestling people doing wrestling things, and the TV people need to stick to which camera angles need to be where. And hey, we've got 60 minutes on this TV broadcast. You know, we got to go to break here, here, and here, and we need to get ready to go home.
Who are your favorite 5 non-wrestlers in the indies?
Non-wrestlers.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a non-wrestler now, but Lone Wolf Bobby Blade, I love him to death. He used to be a worker. Taught me a lot when I first broke in. He's real funny. He lives pretty close to me, and I go hang out with him and talk a couple times a week, bullshit with him. Was there for me during a lot of my up and downs in life. Ironically, was at my high school graduation. Just really good dude. Oftentimes gets shit on by the promotions that don't know his value. Get on to my second one here. The funnest guy that I ride up down the road with nowadays. He father figure by any stretch of imagination.
Really?
He funny as all get out, cranky as hell all the time. It's always something different with him. I like to make him drive because I hate driving. Sucks anymore. But he's always got a funny story, a funny outlook on life. He's a little harsh for some people, but I kind of like that because it kind of keeps me in check. And he's taught me a lot of people skills that he has, but I necessarily had to develop into, and how to deal with people. It's a lot better way to handle somebody directly. Like, Josh, if I have a problem with you here, hey Josh, you're an asshole. That's the best way for me to handle it. And I've had to learn that instead of sidestepping it. He really needs a class in basically morals of the business and how to be a man. Other non-wrestlers. We talk about guys that are not in the business anymore, that maybe did some managing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got a name Rowdy Red. He used to work. I actually had my first couple matches against him. This guy, back in the day, he would go in there and roll you up like a pretzel and just stretch you from here to Brazil. He was a scary, scary individual. I was going to lock up with him, and then he went to go do the test of strength. And I remember on the tape, I was so young and so nervous that you could see me shaking as I was raising my hand to go up the test of strength with him. But he ended up being a great influence. I'll never forget one word he said to me. He said, these guys can't take you getting out there and just clobbering them in the back or whatever you got to do, being snug with a guy. He said, fuck them, they don't need to be here. And I've kind of lived by that since. So, trying to think of any others. Jeff Vickers was a great help to me. He was in the business at one time, since got out. He basically took up my training when I started working, and developed a lot of his attitude, his beliefs, all that. I kind of went on the road with him when I was really young, and he would get me other bookings outside of the home company I got trained at, and I owe a lot to him. So there you go, Josh.
How did it feel running around in a diaper, and did it make you feel sexy?
I don't know about the sexy part. I got called about it. I figured it was my foot in the door at the least, because a lot of times you got to eat shit to get in that place. So a lot of the young guys don't understand.
Yeah.
And I ate shit there, and then I continued to eat shit there until I got tired of eating shit. Paydays were okay. For independent level, they were actually pretty decent. But, as far as that company, they sell you hopes and dreams. They don't really give you shit to.
Where do you see the wrestling business in 5 years?
Well, to quote someone, it's already half dead anyway. I mean, it's on life support. If people would stop running these shitty shows and actually put some effort into promotion and the guys they use, just because a guy will come work for you for $5 doesn't mean he's a good worker. There's cases of that everywhere in the country. A guy, that will come work for you for $5 shows no confidence in his work. He shows no self-worth. Now, if you're green and still learning, that's the cat of another color, because everybody deserves a chance. And, you're going to make $5, $10 when you first start, if that, a lot of times. But, it all goes back to you have to get your product up to snuff. You have to use good workers. You have to promote. And it's not all the time about the wrestling. You have to use entertaining workers. Mm-hmm. Because a guy can go out there and wrestle, that doesn't mean dog shit in a lot of places.
You can fall asleep.
Absolutely. I get bored with just two guys working. We're in the entertainment business. That's what a lot of people forget. We're not only selling professional wrestling, we're selling entertainment. We're a full entertainment spectrum. Wrestling is a part of that, and they need to be good at that. But promoters have to get their shit straight. Don't be there just because you want to put yourself over or put your buddies over. This is not the hour to do that. Buddy systems need to be broke up in professional wrestling. There's tons of them. Hey, Josh, we're going to, XYZ town to work this weekend. Me and you are going to work one another. Well, if we do all that in a 30 to 45 mile radius at every independent show, and we work one another every week, you'll get tired of seeing that same old shit. Right. You know what I mean? Get in there and work somebody different. Promoters force them to work with people different and make them get better. Because if you work the same people every week, you don't learn a fucking thing. So that's my stance on that, at least.
What would you do if you weren't in the wrestling business?
I would probably be going door to door selling door frames.
Really?
Yes. Or Venetian blinds.
Is that good money?
I don't know. And Avon's also a good option. Just oversaturated there too. I hear the meth deal. You can make a lot of money there too. So that might be what I was getting.
Could you give me some reasons why fans should come out to see a PWF show?
3 hours, ass kicking, in your face, old school entertainment. We got good wrestling too. From top to bottom, the best roster anywhere. Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee. I don't give a fuck where you're at. it's like a movie when you walk in. The lights go down in the house, and boom, it's time to start the show. From then on, it's constant entertainment. It's up in your face as much as we can do there in Kentucky. We've got some of the best workers you can have. Carrie Awful and Higgy are two of the most entertaining characters we have. The dog thing is over like gangbusters, and the boy thing goes right along with it. Then on the flip side of that, we have guys like Dustin Ray's and Jordan Cage, you know, uh, all these different guys who can just get out there and get it. Menace, for God's sake, who is when him and Isaiah wrestle one another in August 10th, they will literally go out there and just kick the shit out of one another. It's going to be great. It's everything you remember about being a pro wrestling fan and liked about it, with an attitude turned way up. So I hope that pretty well describes the show.
Yeah, that covers it. Well, Jimmy, I really appreciate you coming on my show. It's been a good interview. Can you come back anytime you want to do another interview? But is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Just keep supporting independent wrestling, and more importantly, keep supporting me. Every time you buy a wrestler's picture or something like that, yeah, we'll gladly sign it for you. But hey, it's gas money for us to get back home. It's just, if people only knew the real sacrifices a lot of independent wrestlers make, the Thanksgivings not home, the Christmases, birthdays, things we miss to be doing these little shows in front of sometimes hardly nobody, like the case tonight. We get there and the show gets canceled. We could have been doing anything else in the world. We could have been fishing, for God's sake, or could have went and spent a bunch of money at the boat or anywhere else. But just get out there and support the shows, because Lord knows I have to make a living off this, and it's hard. So get out there and make sure, if you're going to independent shows and maybe you're not satisfied, go to the promoter and tell him, hey, I'm tired of this, and say, this is horse shit. I want to see new guys here. I want to see some new blood. You need to get your shit together. Otherwise, I'm not coming back. You know what I mean?
Well, once again, Jimmy, thanks for coming on my show, man. It's been a pleasure. And I always support independent wrestling.
Good deal.
And
you're one of the smart folks out there.
Yeah. Thanks again, man.
All right, buddy. I appreciate being had.